A listener production.
Hey, Chris Spyrou with you. Welcome to The Briefing. You couldn't read a headline in 2024 without a mention of the bad, very not good cost of living crisis. And as 2024 turned into 2025, it's set to be a key issue that will impact how we vote in the upcoming federal election. Our politicians, businesses, charities are all talking about it, and no doubt you've traded secrets with friends over drinks for how you might be making savings in your day-to-day. So, what's the secret to saving a bit of money on the stuff you really can't live without? I'm talking things like cheaper groceries, fuel, or somewhere to eat out. Over the last few years, there's been a whole heap of apps and websites that have popped up promising they can help you find a better deal. But with a wealth of options and such little time to go through them all, which ones are the best? The briefing team decided we wanted to do the homework for you. Senior producer and host Helen Smith joins me in the studio right now, and she has a list of websites and apps you can add to your rotation this weekend to save a little cash and even get some back. Helen, I want to start with something that is very, very important to me, food. What are the go-to apps that can save us on our grocery shop?
So groceries definitely have the most options when it comes to savings, and these are the best apps or websites that I found, and I've downloaded all of these or I've used the website, so I've trialed and tested all of these ones that I'm recommending. My first one that I really loved is called Too Good To Go. So this one connects customers to restaurants and stores that have a surplus of food. So we're thinking brands like Baker's Delight, Harris Farms, Kiwi Foods, even cafes or sushi places. Really, anywhere that partners up with the app can do it. Now, right now, sadly, this one is only available in Melbourne and Sydney. But how it works is you have a little map on the app and you can see which stores have any bags of food that are left over for the day or even the following day. So you reserve the bag of food. Now, these are surprise bags of groceries. So if you have allergies, probably not the best one for you. But we're looking at, for example, Harris Farms, a bag of surprise groceries, $9.99, so $10, and they're worth $30.
Okay, this is very good. I like this.
Another one that's really good for specials is called Half Price. Now, this one, you just download the app, you pop in your postcode so it gives you the right specials for your area. This is nationwide. And it comes up with all of the half-price items, all heavily reduced at Coles and Woolies. It has categories like, drinks, frozen, household, dairy, health and beauty, anything you can kind of think of that are in those big supermarkets. You can favourite the products, pile them all together, create a grocery list, and there you go. You've got all your half-price or on-special deals. This one we have talked about on the show before. It's called Farmer's Pick. Now, this is just cheaper fruit and veggies. It claims to be up to 30% cheaper than supermarkets, but the best part about Farmer's Pick is it's actually things that wouldn't make it to the supermarket. So it focuses on food waste. So these are fruits and veggies that might look a bit funky or a bit wobbly or might have a bit of an imperfection on them.
To clarify, when you say funky and wobbly, do we mean like bruised or do we mean
No.
they have worms in them?
No, we just mean that, carrots, you're not going to get a perfectly straight carrot. It might have a bit of a wave in it.
Yeah, a little bit of an aesthetic
Because
purchase,
supermarkets,
that's fine.
because supermarkets do have quite strict guidelines when it comes to what their fruit and veg looks like in the store. And this is a great stat that I found, that almost 50% of citrus actually gets rejected for not meeting size criteria or having minor blemishes. So this Farmer's Pick, you can get $36 for a box of mixed fruit and veggies, $46 for two people, or a large box, a family of four, $63. So this is mixed fruit and veg that would otherwise be going into the bin. Now, if you've got all of these kind of bags of surprise groceries or fruit and veg and you're like, okay, great, I've got all these ingredients, I don't know what to do with them now. Save Full is really good. It's an app that you download and you select, okay, I've got pasta, carrots, tomatoes, eggplant, chicken stock, whatever. You select what you've got in your pantry and it will actually compile and show you recipes that you can make with those ingredients. So it's limiting food waste in your home that might otherwise go soggy or moldy that you throw out. So that's a really good app that you can download and have once you've got that surprise bag of groceries to make your week a bit better.
Oh, I'm really going to try this with what's in my pantry at the moment, which I can tell you is a bag of rice, tuna, and in my fridge is off milk.
Yeah, great. I wouldn't use the off milk, but say full, you'll definitely be able to find something with that.
Oh, I love that. All right, what about eating out? Which apps are the best?
Okay, so eating out can be really costly, and I know a lot of people have pared back on eating out last year and probably this year as well. But these two apps can give you up to 50% off the total bill, and most of the time it's 40 to 50% off. Oof. So the first one is Eat Club. You can save up to 50% off the total bill at bars and restaurants. So this is including alcohol at some places. So it shows you the best deals of the day in your area. Again, it's got the map function where you can see what's going to give you the deal. This one is nationwide as well. So if you are already going out for dinner or you want to grab takeaway, it's worth having a look at Eat Club because it will show you who's got deals on for today. This app, the deals do change. Whereas the next app that I'm talking about, First Table, this one is 50% off the food bill by booking the first table of the night. So all of the restaurants that First Table is partnered with on the app, you can select and you have to book the first table. So the bookings are quite early. Majority of the time it's a 5 p.m. booking for dinner. But hey, if you're going just after work or you've got kids, that's great. You get 50% off the bill. You book it, you reserve it. You can also do days in advance. So you can do next week on Sunday or plan ahead. So it's a really good way to eat out and get 50% off.
Alrighty, let's chat fuel. We did a deep dive on this last week. The episode's titled $2 a litre, Who's Effing with Our Petrol Prices? That episode will be linked in the description. What are the apps at the moment that can save us on petrol?
So this one I think a lot of people forget about because when you're looking for fuel, you're usually running on empty and you're just going to the nearest servo.
Yeah.
So with these apps, you can literally save up to 20 cents per litre. And I'm talking of servos and petrol stations that are on the same street, on the same road, just a few blocks away from each other. So New South Wales Fuel Check is the best one for that state. Northern Territory has My Fuel. WA has Fuel Watch. Now in Victoria, the government is promising to build a new petrol price checking function into its Services Victoria app. And SA has an RAA app that has the same thing. So these fuel apps show you the live prices for fuel. And these are all different brands of servos, like 7-Eleven, your Budget, your BPs, all of them. And you can put in the type of fuel you're looking for as well, compare the prices, drive an extra 5 minutes, and you can save up to 20 cents on the litre of fuel. There's also some nationwide ones, Petrol Spy, Fuel Map, Motormouth, and another recommendation that we got actually from inside the office was Costco. Costco memberships do cost about $60 a year, but that's for, Costco. But Costco fuel, which I think a lot of people forget about, can save you a lot. One of our tech support actually told us that he can save up to $30 on a tank of fuel. So that's a big saving if you're doing that every couple of weeks.
Yeah, and another thing, just sticking with the theme of cars and fuel and things like that, something that can be really expensive is parking, especially around major cities. What did you find out about cheaper ways to park?
Parking is a bit trickier. This is probably the hardest one that I couldn't find that many hacks on, to be honest, to save money. But there are a few apps. Now, Easy Park is one of the most popular ones. I did download it and try it. I didn't love it for ease of use, but I think it also depends where you are location-wise. But it has really good reviews. Another one is Cello Park and Paystay. So how these apps work is they show you where you can park and time limits on parking areas. So there's a little widget kind of clock thing that you spin when you park. And they're made for users to reduce the risk of getting fined. So for example, Easy Park, how this one works, it's in collaboration with cities and operators. So thinking the parking inspectors, right? So the app sends a message to these parking inspectors telling them when you've parked. So when you've started your active parking session.
No.
So then it tells them when you've parked. So then if they are like, you've parked here for 30 minutes, but you've actually parked there for 15, you've got the app to back you up and hopefully can move on without having a fine.
Oh, I actually like that. At first, I hated the idea that they have this tangible data that they can track and micromanage your parking. Because I love getting out of those Not that I cheat the system with parking, but I absolutely hate when the street is filled with parking inspectors. So, I mean, this works both ways and I like it.
Yeah, so it can get you out of trouble and you've got a paper record, which is good. Another one, though, if you're looking for long-term parking, Park Hound is really good. I do like this one a lot. It shows you parks that are unused. So pretty much general public users, if they've got a park that they're not using, say in their apartment block or in a garage that they're not using, they can actually rent or hire that out.
Oh, that's so clever.
Yeah, so I had a look around major cities, Melbourne and Sydney, because they are notoriously the worst for parking. A cheap one in Sydney is around $300 a month, which is still a bit costly, but if you are looking for long-term parking and you need to do it for a month, you live very far out of the city, it's still a good option to have. Whereas Melbourne can range from as little as $150 to $250 for a long-term park for a month, which is a good option if you really need it.
Okay, let's get off the roads. I want to talk everyday transactions. Are there any apps for shopping and other things that we're buying day to day?
Yes. So these two apps that I'm going to say are cashback apps. So Shopback and Cash Rewards. Now, these are great apps because you can use them with your everyday purchases with so many brands. Like I'm talking Booking.com, Priceline, Coles, Woolies, and even Virgin for flights. So how these apps work is you download them and you purchase through the app. So they show you which brands have the best cashback. So it could be cashback maybe 2% up to 30% cashback. So what is cashback? Cashback is pretty much when you buy something, it gives you 30% or 5% of that purchase money straight back into your account.
And the good thing about these apps is that it actually connects to your ANZ, your CommBank app, your Westpac app, and each time you make a purchase, it can either directly hit your account straight away or it kind of bulks up in the app and then you can cash it out at a certain point. I love using this one. I use it all the time when I'm buying clothes, especially on the Iconic, which, is my go-to shopping spot.
Yeah, so it instantly puts that cash back into your nominated bank account or your PayPal. Now, with this app, though, it's really easy to get sucked into the cashback deals. So it's good if you're already buying something you need, but don't get sucked into just a bargain.
Which is wonderful advice that I do. I second that advice. Look, I love cashback apps like this, but I, like a lot of people, I'm a little sus. I don't fully understand how these apps make their money. So, what can you tell us about that?
So pretty much apps like Cashback, they're partnering with these brands, right? Big name brands, the Iconic, Priceline. It's essentially free advertisement for the brands that Cashback is partnering with. So yeah, it's an incentive to get people to buy more. So Cashback partners with these big brands. They give them a little bit of percentage, and then the Cashback initiative gives back to the customer. So it's a symbiotic relationship between the brands, the Cashback apps, and the customer.
Helen, we do appreciate you going on this little fact-finding mission. I'm sure there are a bunch of apps that people are downloading right now based on your recommendations. And if you do download any of these apps or try any of these websites, let us know at The Briefing Podcast on Instagram. And if there's any other hacks that you've found that you would like to recommend, pop them in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you. Hey, that is it for this episode of The Briefing. We would love it if you could share this episode with someone who you think might enjoy it. And don't forget, tomorrow we have the weekend briefing with our very own Antoinette Latouf. She sits down with Steph Claire Smith, and Steph opens up about the backlash she gets online, chicken wings, and bikini pics.
For those who do follow me and maybe have for a while, I was a bit confused why it was so shocking when I posted a video the other day in a small bikini around my son, because I started out as a lingerie and swimwear model. That's what was honestly 80% of my content when I first started Instagram.
That chat will be in your feed tomorrow morning. If you want to keep up with our other content, you can check us out on Instagram at The Briefing Podcast and on TikTok and YouTube. Just search Listen in Newsroom. And before I go, a big thanks as well to the briefing team for their hard work this week. My co-hosts Sasha Barbagat, Bensian Siebert, Jessica Wukyanov, Helen Smith, Matt Curry, Chris Marsh, and Darcy Thompson. I'm Chris Spyrou. I'll see you next time.